Good morning, everybody. I hope that you're having a joy-filled existence today. I was reading in the book of Ecclesiastes this morning about joy, and my take on what I was reading is that God ordains us to have joy in our life, and having a joyous life is wisdom. There are many people who have many things. There are many people who have many things. Many things. And sometimes all those things can keep you awake at night worrying. But a wise person can have very little and yet find joy in it. And that's really, as I was reading a little section in Ecclesiastes 9, I think maybe verse 7, 8, and 9, or maybe it was 5, 6, and 7, but it was right in there, where it led me to believe that wisdom is finding joy in every day. And that's what I believe today and on almost every day when I'm in my right mind. So, it's not 15 degrees today, which is a good thing because it was yesterday and the day before. It's more like 30 something, which doesn't make it extraordinarily, comfortable to be outside. But it's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. It's better than being, like 15 degrees. So I am going to find joy in this day, and I'm going to do it with the simplest of things. I haven't figured out which simple things I'm going to approach to bring me joy, but there are so many. There are so many options here. I just look around and think there are so many things that I could just focus on and find great joy in this day. And that's what I'm going to do. You're invited to join me. You don't have to do what I'm doing. You don't even have to watch what I'm doing. But I encourage you to look at your life and find joy in it. I believe that is wisdom. I believe that is the wisdom of God for us. That's my 2 cents worth right there. Y'all spend it any way you want. So, what are we doing today? A couple things are on my mind. I got a rusty spot here that I was digging out the other day, and I thought, well, I could poke around with those rusty spots and maybe poke a little paint up underneath there where I cut out most of it, but there's still a little, and I could scratch around on those rusty spots and coat them with something. Sure could. I could grind on these little spots here somewhat and coat them with something. Sure could. I could go back to messing around with this trailer hitch that I was messing around with the other day. That's another option. Oh, there's so many things. So many good things that I could be doing. By the way, I talked to the preacher last night. I mentioned the other day that I was thinking about selling the truck that I have down in Georgia to a preacher that I know down there. He runs a little farm, and he also cuts grass and uses grass cutting equipment, like the zero-turn lawnmower and stuff like that. And he needs a good-sized truck to do that with. He had a nice truck that got totaled in a crash recently, and it's left him without anything to drive, so I've let him drive my truck. And he's offered to buy it, and at first I said, well, if I get home and find that God's blessed me with a new car, and I don't need this truck anymore, then I will sell it to you. Well, I got home, and here's this Jeep, and for those of y'all that don't know it, this Jeep wasn't exactly a gift, but it was pretty close to it. A friend had this Jeep as a second car, and it wouldn't run, and they took it to a shop, and they put a new battery in it, and then they told the friend that it needed some work on the wooden idle, and it had a lot of rust and wouldn't pass an inspection. We have state inspection sticker in Maine, which I think is a ripoff, but we won't get into that. So they told me if I'd pay what they spent for the battery and drag it away, I could have it because they didn't have a place to store it. So I bought the battery and got the Jeep for free. So basically, I think God gave me a vehicle. So I thought about that, and I thought about what I'd said to that preacher. So I talked to him yesterday, and we worked out a deal for him to buy the truck. And so this Jeep is eventually going to go to Georgia. I may drive it down there, but he's an interesting guy. He preaches in church. He does grass work. He does some police work, and he drives a truck. And he cooks barbecue. So he's got his hands in a lot of things. And he fixes cars, which is my kind of preacher. He's a preacher with his hands dirty, and I like that a lot. So I agreed to sell him the truck last night, and so that means this thing is going to Georgia, and I'm excited about it because I think it'd be a fun vehicle to have down there. It would be a good little car for me to drive when Honey Baby's using the other car, and with the four-wheel drive it's got, I could run all in and out of the mud holes and up the side of steep hills and down into muddy valleys and all kind of things. So pretty happy about that. So I'm still contemplating what to do exactly today, but sometimes it's good enough just to, rather than rushing into action, it's just good to stand around a little bit and think about how fortunate I am, how many things God has given me to help me be happy, and just be happy, and to think on these things. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm thinking on these things. Oh, the joy. Oh, the joy.